Welcome back, everybody. This is Dana from Master Land Investing. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is a quick lesson. What I want to talk about, I emphasized in another video about the perfect land purchase agreement contract. What it is I just want to emphasize the fact that you're the investor. You want to stay in control of all the deals. So just remember, when you're pursuing the land investing business, you always want to remember that typically the customer's not going to mind when you send out the purchase agreement. Go ahead and put 90 days till closing, which means 90 days from the date they sign it till the closing date. This way it gives you a lot more time. Another thing is also put 90 days feasibility study, which means you have 90 days from the date of signing when they sign it and you get it back. From that date of when they signed it, you have that 90 days to do your due diligence, make sure it is what it is, anything you chose to do, and it also gives you a way out in case you can't make the deal and you find out in the interim. And this way you don't drop the ball and forget. You put 15 days feasibility, it lapses, and then you have to give up the deposit if you have to back out of the deal. So typically do that. And one last thing I want to emphasize, and it's a quick video, is the assignability. Make sure it's on the contract, your purchase agreement, that there is an assignability clause, meaning you can assign the contract to anybody else, but you are not released from the liability, which means you're responsible for the deposit if the person who signed the property doesn't go to closing, but at least you have that assignability clause, because if you have 90 days from date of signing to close, and you have 90 days on your feasibility, which is your due diligence period, and you have a assignable clause included in the purchase agreement, this way you're fully in charge of the deal. Because a lot of times what I've done is, once I have the contract back in hand, they're bound to that for that 90 days. It's probably 80, 78, 80 something days left till you got to go to the closing table. That gives you plenty of time, wiggle room, to find a potential buyer. And I can't preach enough that don't get greedy. I mean, I use realtors more often than not because I just don't delegate a lot, and it's so simple. And usually the community, whatever community I'm in, anywhere I'm working, I build a relationship with a realtor, and they know what I'm all about. I want to move properties. So if they say the properties are moving at 30, I'll say, listen, get ready. I just got one in the mail. I'm going to clear title. If it's a property anything over 5, I'll usually just hire a title company to do it to make sure it's done right and there is clear title. And then I'll go ahead and I'll ship it right over to them, the information for the listing. And if it's at 30, the fair market value that I've determined, they've also did some comps and let me know it's about 30 that the property's moving within 90 days. I'll tell them to list that thing at 27,000, 26,000, maybe 28 if they're comfortable. I'll check it with them, confirm with them. But whatever that number is, that they can pretty much assure me that within 60 days they can move the property. So typically what happens is I can either do a simultaneous closing, or I can just go ahead and sell the property in 60 days. This way I'm not sweating the deal trying to come up with the money. It's another way to keep your money flowing, because it's an issue that comes up a lot of times. I think I've addressed it in another lesson, is the ability to keep the ball rolling and to make the deals, because nothing's worse when you solicit in the area, however you do it, and you get a bunch of opportunity for some good deals, and you know they're money makers, and you haven't got the money, and you got to go back to the potential seller and stretch the time out. Sometimes they're not happy with that because they're motivated. You're trying to solve a problem, like I always say. So if you're a problem solver, you got to think creative and use all those tools in your box to make sure you don't squeeze yourself short. At first, when I did it years and years ago, I thought, geez, I got to put a big deposit number on it. I got to put 30 days. I should put 15 days in feasibility. Everything to make sure they felt warm and fuzzy. They wouldn't back out. But over time, I've realized that typically nobody's going to say anything about it. They don't even hardly read it. They're motivated. They sign the damn thing. They send it back to you. You got 90 days. And many times, like I've said before, a lot of times when things happen in the past, it went past 90 days. I didn't say anything. I just kept it on the market and sold the property. They were happy to get their money. They never even called me. And if they do, I've been close to 90 days in the past. Said, listen, I still want the property. I apologize. I didn't get back to you. We're still working on it. I was a little light on money. I'm trying to move a couple properties. I'm an investor. So if you can be patient with me, if you need me to send an extension, a lot of times they say, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If you can, get me my money as soon as possible, I'm patient. So remember, you're in charge. It's a tool in your box. That vacant land purchase agreement is very important. So you got to have it written, and I can refer to my perfect vacant land purchase agreement, which I'll provide in the course I'm providing. Very important. You're in charge. They're not going to say anything typically. If they do, you just, you can work with them on that. And if you have to adjust it, you can, depending on the deal. But know the value of the deal. Know how to structure your vacant land purchase agreement, and you'll be in a much better position, because I don't want you guys even starting out of the gate all excited. You've taken the course or somebody else's course. They didn't explain that to you, and you send out these contracts, and you got a short leash on your closing date. You happen to hit a good area. You're getting a lot of property response. You got a lot of deals lined up. A lot of people send it back to purchase agreement, and it's 30 days or 60 days. It doesn't give you enough time if you want to move property and you're still trying to build a buyer's list, especially if you're in a new area, you're out of state, and buyer's lists are great, but a lot of times buyers don't want to buy property outside of their neighborhood. If you have a builder's list, they're not buying property in Mississippi if you're selling property and you work in Colorado. So that's important. Remember that. And I don't want to mislead you guys. I want to make sure you have every tool in your box, that you're positioned right, that you can take advantage of the opportunity. You don't run into a bottleneck that you got more deals coming that you can handle, and you have to do like I say don't do. Go borrow somebody else's money and pay big points on the money loan. You don't want to do that. So don't be afraid to put 90 days, 90-day feasibility study, fully signable contract, and you'll be a much happier investor. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate your time. I know your time is important. I hope this lesson was good for you guys. Make sure you subscribe so you can continue to get these great videos. Thanks again. Go out and inspire somebody today. Be generous. Don't be greedy. Have a great day. Thanks again. Bye-bye.